I'm having a little epiphany about aging, a lot of things stop working as you get older, You start to get short-tempered, Your reproductive system starts to not work so much. Your hair stops growing so well. Your skin stops looking so resilient and stops retaining so much water in it. Some people, as they get older, they get skinnier. They don't have as much volume to their body or whatever the case may be. Their collagen levels reduce, so they're adipose. I don't know if that's considered adipose tissue. But, the body stops repairing itself so much because it's time's up now. But it's not in it's instead of being in a repair mode, it's in survival mode. And I think that we understand now that stress hormone cortisol is a survival kind of thing. It changes where the resources are dedicated. It takes the resources from certain areas and puts it in other places. Even in the case of hair, when you're stressed, there's less blood flow to your hair follicles, right? When you're stressed, your cortisol levels raise up, right? And your hair needs cortisol also to be in the growing state. So apparently, I guess, your body starts to draw in all this cortisol, neglecting your hair of that cortisol, neglecting your hair the ability to stay in the growing, I think, which is the anagen state, and just like getting older, your body's saying, listen, this is not time to look cute, because it's not time to reproduce. This is not the time to, be, malleable, flexible, psychologically or whatever. Whatever you've learned. Whatever you got. Now it's time to survive with what you already know and try to survive with the whatever resources that are left. So it dedicates certain things to certain areas to just, I would say, to just preserving your core and dedicating resources to just keeping you alive instead of dedicating resources to keep you cute, keep you, marketable regarding reproduction and all that yada yada, and keep you growing, because you've already grown enough. You've reached the dimensions which should be sufficiently necessary for you to take care of yourself. So the repairing is still taking place, but not as much, because it's not about making you so supple and whatever the case may be, right? It's really about conserving the resources. And you know what? I got an inspiration while I'm talking about that. Now, don't get offended. Calm down. You got these Galapagos tortoises that live to be hundreds of years old. What's the thing about a Galapagos tortoise? They move very slowly. They conserve their energy. They conserve their resources. They eat some food. They don't move around too much. They take it easy. They don't get too excited about stuff unless you knock them over on their backs, and then it's over for them actually. But they, if they make it to old age, they can really make it to many, many years of old age by taking it easy and moving like moving like they don't want to stress themselves out. I'm being very flippant and very on the surface about whatever. But a tortoise, an elephant. I don't know how long an elephant lives. What's a long-living animal? What's an animal that lives very long? I don't know. Trees. Trees don't move around too much. They take it easy. But we have to be. We need physical exercise to maintain our selves. Me personally, I'm just there's a doctor online that I listen to, and he was talking about fasting and how fasting helps you to build muscle. And everybody was tearing him apart. Everybody was tearing him apart, tearing him up, saying, what you're saying is wrong. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm not going to work out without eating, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to have my protein shake and blah, 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 blah. Listen, the thing about it, it's kind of context. Everything is contextual. Well, just about. It depends on the context in which you're talking about things. Now, later on, I realized by looking at the hypothalamus and the pituitary gland and how they function, when you're in a fasting state, your body produces human growth hormone. Human growth hormone is what the bodybuilders plug into their body to get these big muscles. So this doctor, who is a professional, he's one of the rare few that knows what he's talking about. He puts on more muscle if he fasts before the workout, because your body is sending out a message to produce more human growth hormone. So as a result, he gets more bulk by fasting. And then, you also got a guy I listen to online named Eddie Abu, and you got a whole bunch of other guys talking about these carnivore diets, and people talking about themselves losing weight on carnivore diets, which is just a copy of the Atkins diet, right? So what you're actually doing, these people are doing, and if they do it right, it kind of works, in a sense. But what they're doing is they're starving themselves. By eating all that protein, they're starving themselves of excess energy. Now, the body, from my understanding, I hear some people saying that the body takes fat and turns it into sugar. I didn't know that. Well, I don't know. But hey, if you're someone who is large and you're over here eating processed foods, well, you're going to be helped by eating meat, because it doesn't contain TBHQ, it doesn't contain BHT, it doesn't contain MSG. Hopefully you're not eating any with MSG in it. It's probably got a lot of salt in it though, which is going to cause you to retain water. But these guys are fighting right now. Regarding adipose tissue, you're probably gonna start your body's, since all you're eating is protein, or you're eating fats. Even if you're eating fats, most of that fat is gonna pass through your body anyway. But the carbs don't pass through your body. The carbs do not get a pass. The carbs don't get a pass. The sugar doesn't get a pass. The starches don't get a pass. They get turned into energy. They go into your body and they build up and increase the adipose tissue. So if you're now starving yourself of the carbs, you're going to lose weight. So people who are over here on the Atkins diet, carnivore diet, whatever the case may be, they're in a, I wouldn't say malnutrition, because they still get vitamins and nutrients and iron and all kind of stuff from meat, but they're not, as a result of primarily eating meat, they're not eating bread. Primarily eating meat, they're not maybe eating crackers and chips and cereals and all this carbohydrates. So Eddie Abu would probably tell you, have some eggs, even though the white part of the egg does have some carbs in it, but have some eggs, probably have some bacon, have some beef, and don't eat all these processed foods. Processed foods contain a whole bunch of poison, for one thing. The meat doesn't have as much poison, I would assume, except for maybe bleach and some other things. But the meat doesn't have as much poison. The meat doesn't contain any sugar, really. It doesn't contain any carbs in it. So you're just devoiding yourself. Instead of filling yourself up with carbs, you're filling yourself up with meat. So you eat some meat now, you don't want to eat no more. And meat takes a long time to digest, so you probably feel fuller for a longer time. So the meat diet, the carnivore diet can probably work. Fasting can also work, but it depends on what you're doing with it. Now, I would think that you would probably be devoid of certain, you should still eat some greens. Try to find some greens to eat with that meat. you know. But a straight up carnivore diet, I'm not necessarily an endorser of that, but I can see how it can definitely cause you to lose weight. I can see how fasting can increase your human growth hormone. That's how the hypothalamus and the pituitary work. So, you know, but you could probably just fast, period. You can do both things if you want to do that, but you're basically kind of fasting by just eating meat, because you're not putting any energy, you're not putting any calories in. The meat doesn't really have calories in it. So that's my limited understanding. But hey, I'm just hopping on here to talk some junk. Hey, thanks for listening.